So this is the second part of the my video segment wherein we are analyzing the underperformance of Fighter, and which I was talking about was that I felt the timing, the release of Fighter should have been a week before, just before the Republic Day weekend, because I felt that if they had done it, they would have got a clear week of of a time when people were still in the holiday mode. If we had released it probably within the just a week before the 23rd, 26th January weekend, I think it would have done more business. Whereas you can see there is a movie called Hanuman which has cashed in on those 2 extra weeks, and they're already it's an established hit, whereas Fighter still is fighting to break even. The worldwide gross is still not crossed 300 crores. So, based on that, considering the budget of the movie, considering it has a big star, these numbers aren't too healthy. Okay, but I feel it will still pick up. It will break even, and it will go on to become a just about an average hit. Uh, and probably it is not a testimony, it is not exactly a kind of a the figures really don't match up to how good this movie is. So the timing of the movie was very critical. Even though it is a patriotic movie, the producers need to think out of the box. They feel that okay, fine, we release it on a 23rd, 26th January weekend, we're going to make good numbers, and we're going to get a good opening. You will get a good opening irrespective of anything, because a 26th January weekend, even if you release a movie which is not patriotic but you have stars, it will still have a good opening. But it makes good sense if you utilize a week before the 26th January weekend, because still there is that flavor of holiday still there. People are also go ahead and eye the 26th January weekend because they want to go and go for a small vacation or a holiday for 3 or 4 days. They try doing that. So sorry, it makes more sense for big movies to release a week before 26th January weekend. It will do more business if they do, and it actually helps the business. 26th January weekend, always remember, and this is for all the movie community, and I don't know whether you guys are listening or not. 26th January weekend is one of the toughest weekends. After that, you don't get a good run, because everybody, the February month is actually the work month. It is the workhorse month for all employees, for everybody. So it is after major hiatus of, like, you can say December and January, where everybody goes on holiday. Albeit it is spread over. Some people go in December, some people go in January. The somebody's backing up for someone. The actual work, it starts from February. So you have to be very careful with the timing of these releases, because now it's already back to normal. So you have to go ahead and release movies taking that into consideration. February month, um, March month, these are tough months you to make a movie run. You have maybe just a holy a week or weekend or so on and so forth. Why are we talking about all these things so critically? Because OTT has come into play. Now a discerning viewer will think thrice before actually going ahead and watching a movie in a hall, because that's a major investment when they enter a PVR Inox or a kind of a book my show. Through that they go somewhere, because the cost of the food item and everything is so high. He will think a lot before actually going sorry going into a hall and watching a movie. They would rather wait for the OTT release, however late it comes. It has to be really a spunky, very um, impactful watch for that person to actually go to a hall and watch it over and over again. So that is again one of the reasons why Fighter has suffered a setback. The final reason, which I would like to say, there are many multifarious reasons, but I've already classified the important reasons in the first segment. The final reason why Fighter is suffering so much is slowly and steadily there is some sort of an unconscious hatred which is building up against Siddharth Anand. I don't know why, but there is. Firstly, everybody thinks he's essentially just recycling these James Bond movies and making them work, even though Fighter is not that. One of the common complaints against him is that he takes a template, and one of the basic templates he takes is the James Bond movie of Die Another Day. He takes it and he revises it in a certain way. He goes ahead and concocts the story in such a way to just fit the elements of Die Another Day, and he goes ahead and creates a story based on that. It's not exactly a very original product, it's very derivatory, and some people can see through it. So even though people appreciated Pathan, people watched War, they had a lot of good time, at the end of it, it's a very strange phenomena that success attracts a lot of hatred. They feel this guy is having a easy time. He's just going ahead and making movies which are not at all original. He's just going ahead and watching some video games like Uncharted or like Die Another Day. He's just going ahead and mixing and mixing some set pieces from these movies or games and creating a kind of a story and releasing it in the market. So there is a kind of a antipathy which is building up against Siddharth Anand also by a certain section of the audience, which also probably has come to head now, and and that is the reason why Fighter is suffering. And again, Siddharth Anand himself has not done a world of good by giving some interviews, ridiculous interviews, wherein they asked him that, "What do you think the fighter is not going to do well?" and all those things. And he said that, we didn't have any movies with planes. You see, 90% of people have not traveled in planes. And he's made some ridiculous assumptions because of which this fighter has not worked. When I watched that interview, I could understand what exactly he was implying, but it did not come across well. What Siddharth Anand essentially was trying to say that we didn't have any high octane action movie involving aerial combat. That is how he should have told the interviewer, whereas it came across as if we are a very backward nation where 90% of people don't know what planes are, we have not traveled in planes, etc. And that has done a lot of damage to the business of fighter, and Ritik, for no fault of his, is suffering because of that. You have to be very careful with your words when you are going ahead and giving interviews. um, I'm very sad to see that the team of fighter who has done such an amazing job, they are suffering because it is really not doing that good a business as it deserves to do. So it hurts. It hurts me also as an audience when I watch it, but I can't help it because there are various factors based on which a movie runs, especially in this OTT era which we are living in. So you have to be very careful, you have to be very, very cautious with a lot of things when you are releasing a movie and when you are trying to make it work. The timing is important, as I have told you. The Right now we are back to normal, so this is exactly the era where what it was earlier. So to make things settle down, to make things work, there are a lot of factors which the filmmaker, which the publicist, with the marketing heads, they have to go ahead and take into consideration. So all these issues, all these factors have to be taken into consideration before planning the release of a movie, even the interviews or the promotions have to be done in a cohesive manner where everybody is in sync with each other. Nobody should go ahead and blurt his or her tongue saying something stupid or absurd which can impact the movie. Basically, you have to be the best of your behavior. You cannot be to look ridiculously cool, say something stupid which actually hits the movie, because it automatically hits the audience. If the audience doesn't like someone in that movie, they will not watch the movie. He'll say, fine, I'll wait for it. I have no issues. I'll wait for it. I'll catch up on Mr. and Mrs. Smith in this in Amazon Prime now. I'll catch up on probably Animal. I have not watched Animal, so now it's on Netflix. I'll catch up on that this weekend. So they have a lot of alternatives. So based on that, when you're trying to market a movie, it should be just that movie and nothing else. And you have to be very careful with what you say. Fighter has been impacted by multifarious reasons, as I have told you. Number one, we are back to normal. Employees are working 5 days a week. It is one of the toughest month, February, which has come into head, and to actually space some time out for the second week after the 26th January weekend is very difficult to achieve. So that's why there was a massive drop from Monday only, because Monday everybody came back to work. Everyone. You had to report to work. You had your fun, and you had a lot of holidays. You had 23rd January in some centers, Netaji Subhas birthday. You had 15 January in some centers in Bangalore. Then you had the holidays from Christmas to this and that, and everybody had a gala time. After that, this Monday was the D-Day, when everybody had to come in and had to work and had to get back to their usual routine. So that impacted Fighter very badly, and that is something which should be taken into consideration, because that is going to hit all movies from now on. Okay, now on, it's again back to a time when professionals are just going to work, and probably when they get back home, or probably when they are going back home, if it is a long ride, they will catch their entertainment in their mobile phones or anywhere else. So it's that era is again starting. So to attract audience back to hall, it will not be very easy. Secondly, as I told you, the timing of Fighter could have been a little better. It should have been a week before Republic Day. It would have definitely gone ahead and made a little more money than what it is. I think it could have broken into the 300 crores if it had released a week before this 23rd 26th January weekend. Thirdly, there are certain movies like Argyle and Hanuman, which is still running, which is eating the business of Fighter, because these movies have been appreciated and acknowledged, and people are watching it. So if you have a good alternative, and if you don't go to watch Fighter, then automatically the business of Fighter gets hit. And it's very difficult to actually go ahead and envision that a person is going to go ahead and watch two movies back to back, or maybe Saturday Sunday. It can only happen with a very avid moviegoer. For example, here in Calcutta, I'll tell you, we had our derby today, Mohun Bagan and East Bengal. So everybody will watch that football match. All men, all guys, we will watch it. We will go to the stadium, we'll do it. So we just have time for one movie. Now, if we have a choice between Argyle and Fighter and maybe Hanuman is something. Now, Hanuman, again, a, a father will possibly give it a second thought and say, okay, I'll take my kid for Hanuman because I want him to watch a superhero movie. We've not had got good superhero movies. This is an Indian superhero movie which is working, and it has Bajrang Bali, so I will go there because it speaks of Indian culture, etc. So he might take him there. Argyle and Fighter. Now, some of us are huge fans of Henry Cavill, and we feel there's a lot of injustice which has happened to him. He has lost his Superman role. He's not going to be James Bond probably. So when Argyle comes, which seems like a very cool spy movie, we might just go ahead and watch that instead of Ritik in Fighter. So again, these two movies are really eating into the business of Fighter, which has also impacted it, and that's why it has underperformed. But the heartening part is it's doing very well globally, Fighter, and that is great because people have understood it's really not a run of the mill patriotic movie. That's the reason why I made so many video segments. I'm talking so much about this movie because I really want people to go to a hall and watch it. And finally, of course, the behavior of the crew and everybody um, post the Fighter release. Everybody has been in the best behavior. Let's not get into it. Deepika, Ritik, nobody has invited controversy. But unfortunately, Siddharth Anand has said something as careless as, what about these planes? And people are saying, what are these planes doing? Because 90% of people have not got up on planes. Oh God, why did you say that? It's so, like, it pains me. I know you didn't probably mean what you said. What you meant was, we've never ever had a good high octane action movie involving aerial combat. So you should have said that instead of making such a ridiculous assumption, which I don't think even you believe in. And when people are watching that interview, they're very quick to the lip, and they're ready to just go ahead and, like, take something on face value. And that's the reason why some people are not even watching the movie. Some of my friends are just telling me, you mean to say that director who thinks we travel from Delhi to Calcutta in a bullock cart? uh, so when you make such a sweeping statement, it automatically generates a lot of negativity. And unfortunately, in Fighter, Siddharth Anand's comments have really created a snowball effect, which is hitting the movie to a certain extent also. So these are the reasons why Fighter is not has really not is underperforming in the box office. But I am quite sure that it will still be a good. I would say it will be a hit, but of course, the chances of it becoming a blockbuster now is probably, it's not gonna happen, which it deserves to be. It should have been a blockbuster hit. But let's see. Miracles can happen, and I think we've had a good weekend. As I told you, that you will notice, if any data analyst is there, you will notice the majority of the tickets are being booked or cut from Saturday, or the maybe the cusp of Friday and Saturday, but not at a very, not at Thursday or early Friday. Majority of the tickets have been booked maybe from Saturday morning, which just goes to show that a person now is back to a normal working mode, which was the I would say the working style pre-lockdown. But at that point of time, there was one important thing: the OTT penetration hadn't happened so much, whereas now the OTT penetration is absolutely more than 100%, you can say. So the awareness of an individual with respect to OTT movies, OTT shows, OTT content is much more than what it was pre-lockdown. So now, with the normalcy restored, where a person is going to office for 5 days a week for standard working hours, 9 hours per day, and he's completely aware of OTT, all the platforms. He knows that what's playing on Hotstar, what's playing on Netflix, what's playing on Amazon Prime. He's very well aware of everything. In a scenario like this, to make a movie work is very, very difficult. So based on that, I think, based on all these factors, Fighter is fighting, and it has done some great business. I just hope it can crack the 300 crores this weekend. Not sure about it. It looks little difficult, but I just hope it cracks it, because that will be great, because at least 300 crores is a respectable figure, and I think it will just about break even and show a little bit of profit, and that is very important. um, my best wishes to Fighter and its teams. I hope if anybody is watching from that team, you watched my videos, and I really appreciate your movie. I just hope that you make a sequel to this movie. Marflix has done a great job. Please don't be disheartened with what the results are. I don't think it is. Um, it's not as if we are failing Ritik or anything like that. These are the stupid things which are being told by these movie analysts who don't even know exactly what is happening. We are not failing Ritik. We are possibly watching the movie once. All of us are somehow making some time out from our busy schedule and watching it once, because we can't help it. We are human beings and we don't have 48 hours in one day. So that's the only reason why this movie is suffering to a certain extent. But it will work. It will definitely be a hit, in my book, and it is probably going to be one of the finest patriotic movies ever made by in India, and it's going to win a lot of laurels overseas, globally. It's an excellent commercial, um, the patriotic Air Force movie, which and it's a trendsetter, and it will soon gain cult status in the days to come. So Ritik has really done great. He has to do the third one. He has done Laksh for infantry. He has done fighter for the Air Force. So probably now the next one is going to be Navy. Maybe he can be a Marcos Commando or something like that. The Garud Commando sequence was just superb in this movie. I just suddenly remembered. Anyways, thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed my segment. It was great talking to you all. I just hope that you like my segment. You think that there's some sense in what I am talking about. But this is exactly what the fact is. It's not any no nobody else can probably go ahead and state all these hard facts to you, and that's how it is. Thank you. Bye. Take care.